All right, senior home business family, how you guys doing today? Brittany and Matt here. We're going to do something a little bit different today, so stay with us. We are actually just going to have a conversation. A lot of times we come on here and we have a bunch of bullet points and everything going on the screen and doing a lot of teaching. And we do a lot of teaching. My gosh, Brittany, we do a lot of teaching in the Senior Placement Institute, right? I mean, if you want to know more about the business, that would be the place to go. And there's a link down below. You can watch a free webinar and all that good stuff. But man, we just love talking about senior placement, talking about entrepreneurship in general. It's something that's totally transformed my life, and Brittany, I believe yours as well. Brittany right now is in Missouri, so just flew in, and she's there for 5 days. And I'm here in California, and sometimes I leave this area, but a lot of times I don't, Brittany. I like where I live. I love my wife. I love my dog. I love my house. I kind of get, this seat probably gets more of me than anything, right? And it's over time, we got a team now. So you got a team, I got a team, and but we didn't have that at the beginning, right? We didn't have that. So we're going to talk today about some things that nobody talks about when it comes to senior placement. And thinking about early on, Brittany, what are some things that maybe you do a little bit differently now? I had an original question about maybe some things we did wrong that we don't do today, but there might be a lot of things we do very similar to we did back in 18 and 19. But what are some things that we do maybe a little bit differently, or what you do a little bit differently now?
I would say, what I honed into, at least in my specialty, was definitely I was hands-on in the beginning, but I found the niche ways to be able to come hands-on without putting a lot of workload on myself. So my systems changed. When I first started, I'm still a yes person, but I was a yes person to everything. So
Yeah.
it was getting to the point that, I wasn't able to serve as many seniors because I was such a yes person to things that weren't just placement. And I kind of changed to be able to stay in my own lane, but be able to refer those people to the people that could help them instead of trying to solve every single problem myself outside of placement.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I appreciate that, because one thing about me is I really thought that I could grow my business really quickly without brand. And I really didn't know about brand. And I was a new entrepreneur in 2018. So it wasn't like I was taught all that. I was more of a W-2 employee for a number of years. And, I'd go out and hand out business cards and do different things that we do. Kind of at the beginning, I think we probably all have to hustle and grind, right? I mean, I don't really hustle and grind today. It's more of an attraction. But I think at the beginning, probably if you're going to get your name out and you're going to get your business known and get people's attention, it's going to take some hustle and grinding at the beginning. But to your point about systems, when you have systems in place and you do get your name out, it gets to be less of a hustle and grind. At least for me, it has over the last several years. And it's become more about brand. And so when people call me, it's more of, hey, Matt, how you doing? And whether it's my cell number or whether they're calling my marketing director of the business, they're still asking for me because it's brand. And I think you've done a great job with that, building your brand in 2 different states and people knowing you and reaching out to you. How do you feel like your brand got developed over time? I mean, that's kind of I know it's a loaded question. It's kind of a difficult one probably to wrap our hands around it completely, because I don't even know exactly all what I did. I mean, I know the steps, kind of things that I did with social media and getting out and talking to people and social workers and all that. But when you think about brand, how do you feel like your brand is today versus it was back in 2019? And how did you develop that?
I think I discredited how much it would be you as opposed to a brand. So instead of, like you mentioned, people call you and ask for you, I think I at first did not see in depth, like that it wouldn't be, for example, my company's a lending hand. It's like, call Brittany, call Matt, call Brittany, call Matt. So I think I didn't really understand the scope of the fact that it's very, human centric and personality centric, and how you develop your brand is who you click with, I think, and who you can serve the best and what you stand for, and trying to find out what makes you stand out in the competition and what makes you stand out with the families, as well as the social workers and referral partners, to get word of mouth. So I think like when I first started, it was definitely, I was pushing more my company name more than myself, because that's what you think when you start a business, a lending
Mm-hmm.
hand, senior home business, Matt's Stafford Senior Solutions when you first started. Like I
Yeah.
was pushing a lot of that, but I came to realize it was more about me than it was, especially being a solopreneur. So I had to kind of tap into that. And then I also, as I grew my team, now I'm in a phase where I'm actually kind of coming back from that a little bit, because I do have a team. So it's not just Brittany, it's not just Tina. So we have
Yeah.
multiple people now that I'm actually having to do another shift where I'm going back to more of my brand. So I think it's been a journey from really in the beginning becoming all about me and what I could do for the families. And the afterthought was my brand, where now we have to tap back into the brand.
Yeah. When you think of brand, I heard this from somebody a couple of years ago, and it kind of just rings true. When you think of brand, like, what does that mean? Like brand. And this person said, brand essentially what people say about you behind closed doors when you're not there. And it's really what their perception of you. So, far as like Brittany being a solopreneur, me being a solopreneur at the very beginning, and then over time developing a team. And what I love about this aspect is, I got a different role now, right? I'm not the marketing director. I'm not out necessarily connecting with a whole bunch of people. I still could have certain connections. People still text me and call me, but it's mainly Crystal, my marketing director, is doing a lot of that. Social media specialist doing a lot of that. But what I love about it is when you're in this role that we're in now, I think we give us more of a bird's eye view, of the whole thing. I see the picture a little bit clearer. I see the field. I say field because I play football, but I see it's like almost sitting up in the nosebleed section. It's probably not the best section to be sitting in at a game because you want to be close to it, but you see everything, right? I was watching basketball the other day, and there, of course, March Madness, right? And during this week, and I hate the view they do on TV where they show the whole court basically. It's like this, they hover above it, but that's actually what you want to see. You want to see all the players, all the action, wherever you go. I like a little bit closer. And I think when you develop your brand, you have a team, what you're essentially doing, you're having that bird's eye view and you're seeing everything. And then you kind of know more clearly what to zone in on. Should I focus in on more here, zoom in more here? And it just helps, right? It just now thinking about some of the things maybe we've done incorrectly or maybe we do differently. Are there mistakes that you have made? And I can speak to some too, I know, but that cost you time or money? Is there anything in business that you tried in senior placement that you look back on and go, okay, I learned, and that's what I think in life anyway. You guys, audience out there, is I think that we never fail. We always are learning. And just because Brittany made a mistake or I made a mistake or anybody, we all make mistakes, right? No one's perfect. But is there any one particular thing you can think of that cost you time or money? Because I can think of one, and I think you probably know what I'm going to say, but I want to give it to you first.
I think I'm learning even now in this phase. I'm still learning. It was probably like a quote unquote mistake. I would say that the pro bono work that I do, I really enjoy it. And of course, I get a lot out of it. However, from a business standpoint, how much in depth I do on the pro bono work has costed me a lot of time and money, and also has formed relationships where I'm getting 99% pro bono work as opposed to paid work.
Mm-hmm.
So looking back, how I presented myself and the effort that I did with the pro bono work, I don't regret. But I would have approached it in a different way. So I'm not getting inundated with the pro bono work and being able to train my referral sources, if you want to call it train, or like coach them on what is the best referral for me, because that has costed my business a lot of time and money, essentially.
Yeah, one thing I changed, I'm going to speak on two things. I think you know what the second one's going to be. But the first one, to your point about the pro bono work, at the very beginning, the mistake I made is I always would tell people, man, it's a free service. It's a free service, which it is, right? I mean, we get paid, if you don't know out there, audience, from the communities, but it is a free service for families and residents. But I would highlight that all the time. Free service, free service, free service. Well, who do you think that's going to attract? It's going to attract people that were like, whoa, I didn't want to pay for anything anyway. This is cool. Let me go that direction. And I stopped saying that over the last probably 3 years. I don't really say free service. Now, when I get in front of people and I talk to them, I let them know it's not going to cost them anything, right? Full transparency. But a lot of times in marketing, it's the language that we use in which we attract people. And so by saying free all the time, I was attracting a lot of free clients. Now, to Brittany's point and my point, we don't turn away people. We're more of an advocate for seniors. So audience that are out there like, well, man, you only want to talk to people who's got money. Well, I not really. We want to talk to everybody. But if you think about it, if you're going to grow your business, you've got to have cash flow coming in. And if people are not paying or not able to pay, they're not a qualified client and you're not going to be helping anyone anyway. So that's one kind of area that I stopped. And then one mistake I made, and I'm not saying it's a mistake for everybody, and maybe it's going to work for people out there. So don't take this as being the gospel and this as being the, truth for everybody. But for me, I did a billboard that I had in 6 different areas, rotating every 8 weeks for 6 months. Whether you think it's expensive or not expensive, it was expensive for me at the time, but I spent $18,500 for that situation for 6 months. And I got 2 phone calls, Brittany, 2. And one was like, hey, I saw this billboard. I don't know what this is about, but I just thought I'd call. I got one of those. And then I got another guy. He was up in the foothills and he was like, hey, I've got an uncle that might be needing something like this in a few years. I just thought I'd call and pick your brain a little bit. It didn't give me anything, right? So that's kind of a mistake I made. And the reason I call it a mistake, not that you don't try new things, but I would say at the beginning, do a lot less spending your hard-earned money on things like that. In retrospect, I would not have spent $18,500 on a billboard. And I know it's 5 of them, and I know they're rotating every 8 weeks or whatever, but it didn't pay any dividends. I was hoping, Brittany, that out of that billboard experience, that I would get 1 move-in a month, and it would pay for it. And I don't care if I made money off of it. To me, I started getting to the point, I told my wife this, I was like, man, if I can just get 1 move-in per month from this billboard experience, it's branding. I'll keep running that all day, every day. I don't care if I make 1 dime, as long as I don't lose money, but I was losing money in it. So it's kind of a thing. But Brittany, talk about this. What actually moves the needle in this business and versus what people think moves the needle? Because I think there's some different schools of thought out there, some fallacy of people. They think certain things they do that's going to actually help their business. Now, let me give you one versus like busy work versus income producing activity. And, again, not saying you shouldn't be busy, not saying you shouldn't have a good work ethic, not saying you shouldn't hustle and grind, like I said at the very beginning of your business, but you've got to align yourself more with income producing activities. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think we talk a lot about with our students, like going to certain marketing events and networking events that are having the same outcome over and over. We've had a lot of conversations with our students about that. They have spent, honestly, over a year going to the same type of events, open houses, and there's nothing against those things. But to your point, they're spending they're working so much, but they're not working on income producing things. And they're really they look back a year later and said, wow, I've spent a lot of time doing them and I never got a lead. I never got a contact. I never got anything. So yeah, I think a lot of, at least our students and people that we talk to believe that the more that you're out there, the more that you see people, the more networking you do means business, which it can, but you have to make sure you're in the right places to get business.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy the other day and I pulled up on our CRM or TSL. We got the referral radar, right? Identifies hospitals and skilled nursings with the high levels of discharges, right? How many discharges they do per month. And it's really based on like Medicare information. Is based on Brown University and like 13 other different resources. And it's constantly changing. So it's constantly being updated. It's really cool software. But I was talking to this one guy and he was like, man, I'm going to this one skilled nursing. I know the guy's name. He talks to me all the time. I know his assistant and I'm just not getting anything from him. And I've been going there for months and blah, 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 on and on. And I pulled up on our referral radar and this particular skilled nursing was getting less than 5 discharges a month. And they were also high Medi-Cal, which again, if you're any other state other than California, it's Medicaid, but here's Medi-Cal in California, high Medi-Cal. So it's a lot of low incomes. Even the 5 that are being moved or discharged every month doesn't mean they're going to assisted living, number one. Number two, they probably can't afford it. So where this guy thought, man, I thought this guy likes me, and this assistant, I thought she liked me, and I thought they're going to do business with me and all this, but they're not giving me anything. It's not that they have anything against him. It's just they don't have anything to give him. So you've got to spend your time at the right places. If you don't, you're going to spin your wheels. And I did a little bit of that too. And I told this guy, don't fault yourself. I did that too at the beginning because I didn't know any better. I didn't have the referral radar. I didn't have any resources I got today. I was just getting a lame, ugly looking business card, and I was just knocking on doors, right? So I didn't know knocking on that door was the right door or the wrong door. And so I just go to that kind of thing. But you got to learn and be able to figure out these different answers to the questions you have. And if you don't know, that's what I told some students the other day, Brittany, I think it's pretty cool, is you got to assess where you're going and not treat everybody the same. So let's say, for instance, I go to a skilled nursing facility and I've already had an appointment with the marketing director, just the social worker. And, my conversation with her, or my approach to her rather, would be different than if I had never had an appointment with her. So what I kind of do is if you can see them, I can't really see on the screen, probably just my hands, but I would look at it like I'd have like 10, 15 different skilled nursing facilities. And then I would move those social workers over to different areas. You could just get a notepad and write something down, but I'll say, okay, this is what happened last time. And this is what I hope to happen in the next visit or the next call or the next email or the next outreach and approach you do, whatever it is. And you follow along. I don't honestly think, and I could be wrong, it's not that I go around talking to senior placement agents all the time, but just human behavior, I think people don't probably do a whole lot of this. They don't do a whole lot of studying into who they're talking to. It's kind of like, I gave an example. This is another example I gave the other day. I used to coach high school basketball, Brittany, for about 5 years on the East Coast, and about 5 years out here in the West Coast. And so it'd be like being a basketball coach. Well, it's just a round ball, hardwood floor. You shoot the ball in the hoop and you try to play a little defense. What difference does it make if you prepare? Well, that team is going to be no different today than they are 3 months from now. But if you go in and prepare not only your team and improve your skill set, but you're also looking at the team that you're going to play and figure out strategy, how to exploit their weaknesses and maximize your strengths, you're not going to be that successful. So same as senior placement, you've got to be able to assess what's going on in your business. And this is the part that probably most solopreneurs, at least maybe entrepreneurs, don't get right, is they don't spend enough time asking the tough questions about their business, right? And more than just how much money you want to make, how many clients you want. I'm talking about getting really down deep into your business and figuring out what's working and what's not working. And if it's working, make it better. If it's not working, break it, get rid of it, or make it better, whatever you want to do, but make a decision about what it is you want to do and you'll get better. And but Brittany, think about consistency versus intensity. Can you speak to that a little bit? I know a lot of senior placement agents, they hope to be consistent. And I think most people want to be. I don't know if everybody is. Human behavior is, not everybody is consistent. But what about consistency versus intensity?
I think especially in the beginning of your business, a lot of people want the full flat, like they go really intense. They, are beating the pavement. They're really going in. And then like the consistency part of it kind of tethers off when they're not getting the results they want. So we hear this day in and day out with our students, other placement agents. Well, I've been doing this for a year. I've been doing this 6 months and I haven't hit $500,000 a month, year agency, or I'm not at $10,000 a month, 6 months in. I have seen a lot of people come out the gate. I've talked to many, many people that come out really strong. They do a really good job. And then again, when they're not seeing the results by month 2, 3, 4, 5, they start lacking. They stop reaching out. They're not moving the social workers to the next level of, okay, let me get a referral from them. What can I do next? When's my next drop in? That kind of thing. So consistency is going to beat intensity all day long. The more that you show up every day for your business, you do the outreach, you do the work, it does come tenfold. Me and Matt have been very transparent that this is not a get rich quick overnight kind of business. So if you think that you're just going to hit the ground running for 30 days and come back and make a $10,000 a month business, it typically, I'm not saying it can't happen, but it probably won't happen. So just showing up every day, it does come back. But I do see a lot of people lacking when they come on really strong. And a lot of it's, to me, not seeing the results they want or they have in their head quick. I think that's the main thing why I see the lack of consistency.
Yeah, definitely. And Simone, thank you so much. You said great advice. Rebecca's out there. The referral radar is an eye opener. I've shifted to SNFs, and they don't have high Medicaid and low discharge rates. Some I was going to have 2 or 3 discharges per month. And that's exactly example I gave. And I appreciate you saying that, Rebecca, because not all skilled nursing facilities are the same, and not all senior living communities are the same. I mean, it just again goes back to analyzing and assessing your business and what you're doing, because you could think they're all the same and they're not. Hey, Brittney, real quick, what about our having a successful senior placement business, right? And we all want to be successful, whatever that means, you guys. And I'm not, Brittney and I, we do fairly well in our business. You guys probably can figure out the numbers, and sometimes we share those numbers, but whatever success means to you. But thinking about the day-to-day operations of our business, what does it look like, Brittney, versus a successful senior placement agent? Again, whatever success means, but someone doing really well. You feel really good about yourself. You're making a difference. You're getting clients. You're getting move-ins, all that stuff, right? So what does the day-to-day operations look like for that individual versus maybe somebody that is not as successful as they want to be?
I would say it looks like you're all in. So I know that we work, not that you need to work 24/7, but I think that just means that you're all in. I say I breathe, eat, sleep, everything my business.
Come on.
So I do think seeing someone that is successful, this business does take time. And when you are serving a lot of families, you have to be on your toes. You have to be ready for crisis mode, answer your phone, answer your emails, in the grocery store, in the car. I mean, I've seen funny videos online. It's like when you go on vacation with your loved one and they own a business and they're in the corner on their phone. Like, that's how I picture a successful senior placement agent, whether you're doing 2 move-ins in a month, if that's your success, or 20. I just think that you're all in. So you wake up every day wanting to be better for your business, for the families that you serve, for the referral sources that you use. So I just think, every day you're finding ways to be better, as opposed to someone that maybe isn't as successful yet. Maybe they're half in, maybe they're just their toes in, their whole foot's not in. They're not thinking about ways to improve and help seniors. And I think the really cool thing about this business is, if you have the drive and the passion for it, you have that drive to say, well, I need to get out there, because if I don't, I can't help seniors. No one's going to find me if I don't go share my information. So just being fully in, like, it honestly should become a personality trait almost, that you're a senior placement agent, that, is kind of your world, I think, if you're successful.
Man, I love that. Eat, sleep, drink this business, man. It really comes down to that. And doesn't mean, you guys, we don't take time for ourselves. We don't take time for our family. And I know St. Patrick's Day was yesterday. Fortunately, nobody was around me but my wife, because I wasn't wearing any green, because I don't look good in green. Okay. I just don't. Maybe I don't look good at all. Maybe you're out there, this guy's ugly anyway, but I definitely, you think I'm ugly, I'm even more ugly. Is that more ugly? Is that the right word? Is it
uglier
with green on? So I don't want that on, but it's, I would think too, as you're eat, sleep, and drinking this business, you've got to continue to follow up with people. And I mean, with your clients, obviously goes without saying. I mean, in sales, and I know this is not typically sales, but there's some sales components. The money's in the follow-up, you guys. And if people just don't know what to do, and you got to guide them, and going to the skilled nursing facilities or discharge planners at hospitals or whatever resources you have out there, you've got to follow up with these people, and you need to do it with a plan. And let me give you a little bit of advice on this. I learned this from Bradley probably like 3 years ago, even before I went to the VIP thing. I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I do. And it really helps when I actually do this one step. And it's just knowing, pulling up 5 people on your phone, and all you're doing is texting them. Hey, Tom, I was thinking about you today, man. Thinking about that project you're doing. I hope it's going well. Anything you need, let me know. It's just something like you're telling the person you appreciate them, and you're acknowledging something they're doing or would like to do. And it could be, a stay-home mom. Hey, Mary, I'm just thinking about you today. So grateful you're taking care of your 3 kids. You're such a role model. Anything I can do, let me know. And he evidently does that. I don't know if he does it every day, but he probably does it a lot more often than I do. And what that does, it just compounds over time. If you're doing 5 a day, I mean, what is that? 5 times 30 is what, 150? Am I doing my math right?
Wrong person. I use a calculator all the time.
Do a calculator.
Don't embarrass me.
Am I doing? I got a calculator
Yeah,
right here. I'm sure I'm doing it
don't
right. But let's
embarrass
go
me.
5
My
times
math,
30.
you're right.
Hey, I got it right.
Yeah, you
150.
did.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
That's pretty bad because I tell you guys all the time, the only subject in school I was good at was math. But man, if I can't come up with that 5 times 30, man, I need to go back and do some math classes. But it's just, that's something you can actually do practically, and you can reach out to social workers and marketing directors doing that kind of thing. Brittney, one last thing before I let you go, because I know you got an appointment coming up, and we're so excited you guys are being here today again. If you want to know more about what we do, you can drop down, click the link and all that good stuff down below. And we love and appreciate if you just click the subscribe and the notification bell, all that good stuff. But Brittney, real quick, what's harder about this business than people expect? And then conversely, what's easier than maybe what others might expect too? So what's harder and what's easier from your perspective?
I think, and maybe that we were surprised by too. This is a little bit of a surprise for me. I was not expecting it to be as hard to get referral agreements with communities. I was naive to the fact that I thought everybody wanted to work with me. Everybody wanted my
They all love you, Brittney.
Everywhere. So I was shocked, and I think that's one hard part that I was not anticipating, was having to prove myself, when in my mindset, and I still believe this a little bit to today, I know you do too, they should prove to us they're good communities so we can bring our families to them. However, there's some that don't think that way. So, and I think that was harder. Easier, I think for me, it had to do with my age, but it was easier for me than I thought to connect with families speaking about their older loved ones, whether it be mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. I found it to come more naturally than I had imagined. I took the nerves out of it and the fear out of it. So for me, it became just like very rewarding and easier to gather the information and really navigate it. I was expecting it to be harder to learn. I was expecting the communities to be harder to learn. So I was pleasantly surprised to know it just kind of came natural. And it was more of talking to a family and almost becoming a part of their family, helping them in these crisis situations. So I would say that was what was easier than I was expecting, but definitely harder to get referral agreements than I had imagined at the large communities.
I'm going to go my harder and easier right now. My hard would be, I really thought it was going to be easy to get attention on social media by simply posting all the time. And it was hard. And it's even harder today. I'm talking about back in 2018, I almost gave up the social media part of my business. Go figure. That's really what's kind of been one of the hallmarks of our business today. But back then, I do all these posts 2 or 3 times a day, or at least once a day, but mostly 2 or 3 times a day. And I get maybe 1 like, no engagement, no DMs, no clicking the link, no calling me. I mean, I tried everything. Click the link, call me, blah, blah, blah. For like 3 months, crickets. And I thought, this is a complete waste of time. And it's not. Let me give you a clue out there. If you're just getting started or you're very inconsistent, so some of you might be saying, well, I've been on social media for 3 years and I don't get anything. I would dive into your consistency. And you're probably doing it once a week. Whenever you feel like it, you've got to make it a lifestyle. But I thought that was going to be easier for me, and it was actually hard to get into it. But once you get into a rhythm, you start going, it just takes off. Now, the easier thing for me, and this might be to the audience, let me help you out here. And Brittney spoke about this a little bit earlier about, helping people, getting move-ins, things like that. But it's easier to build momentum once you get your first win. And what we found, and I think you alluded to this earlier, Brittney, about, some of our own students, they're kind of like, a couple months goes by and nothing, whatever, they want to drop out. And, they find it to be very difficult. And what it is, they haven't got that first win yet. It's kind of like a sports team. Like I told you, I coached basketball for a number of years. And it's like the first 10 games, you haven't won a game yet. So everybody's deflated. Nobody really feels like practice is working. The coach stinks and we got no talent and our uniforms look bad and our fans never show up and everything is all blah, 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 because you don't have a win yet. But once you get a win, oh man, the morale of the team goes, man, we can do this. And so that is the easiest thing to do, is when you build momentum once you get a win. So if you got no momentum, it's because you have no wins. Go get a win. Focus on that. You'll have momentum, and then you're going to want to get to the level of Brittney saying, hey, I eat, sleep, drink this business. So hopefully this was good for you today. Hopefully you learned something. Brittney, I like the new format. Maybe we'll continue. Let us know down in the comments if you like what we're doing today. We didn't do a whole lot of going back. Actually, we didn't do any of it going back and forth. The points, it was more of a conversation. So if you like it, let us know. And we love and appreciate you guys. Until next time, God bless.